Welcome to BitBoy Crypto.
We can't let anybody else find out who we are. My eyes are up here. I personally would not advise that strategy. Bugs Bunny or Tweety Bird, how to make money in crypto.
Oh, you're killing me.
Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the largest, and we all know, the greatest crypto community in all of the interwebs. This is Monday, June 27th. It's 11:32 a.m. And no, I wasn't going to say this is around the blockchain. We come to you Monday through Friday. I was not going to say that, okay? Ben will be back in about a week. He is in Disney World or Disneyland. Always mix those two up.
Disney World.
And
Orlando.
that one's in California?
Orlando.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he became a Florida boy.
Yeah.
He's trying to find the island boys. He's grown his hair out. He's gonna dye it in these like little on a Kodak Black style. It's gonna look good. I'm looking forward to it. But now I'll be. How did he break his arm? I punched the wall when I saw my portfolio.
There you go.
No, yeah. All right, we're gonna get right into it. BitBoy Crypto YouTube 1.45 million subs. I know I say this a lot, but make sure you go to channels and check out some of these other awesome channels. We got Frankie Candles 19.6, and then we got NFT Alpha 19.5. So congrats, Frankie. We've, I think, only put out like one video in the past 2 weeks, though. So we've been slacking, but we are about to put out another video. Yeah, one 5 days ago, one 11 days ago. So we put out two in the last 2 weeks. Frank has been crushing it with the content, but we're about to put out a how-to guide on Cronos chain. TJ, do you think Crow can survive the bear market?
That's a good question. We've seen, I would say yes. We've seen exchange tokens do really well through past bear markets. They obviously have a strong use case. They've got a lot of money behind them and cash flow generating businesses.
And I don't think they're leveraging people's money. Like, I don't think you deposit money into crypto.com and then they're like, oh, let's long Bitcoin at 24K. Yeah, I don't think they're doing anything like that. So, yeah, we're going to look into that chain. There's going to be a tutorial. We're going to walk you through the MetaMask. We're going to look at, I think, which is their top meme coins drop. I don't want to say any names. You're going to have to check out NFT Alpha dropping later today. So, yeah, I feel good. I feel confident that Crow is going to be here 2 years from now, 3 years from now. So we felt okay talking about it, me and Justin. But we go to the Twitter here, 34,500 followers. We're trying to move on up close to 35K. The Cardano family just been showing me so much love on the Twitter. After NFT NYC, I can definitely say Cardano is building something special. 1,200 likes. You guys have been killing it. The Clay community, I love my Clays, Crypto Dram. So shout out to Crypto Drams, really putting out good stuff too. And my IOHK take. But look, I love more in Cardano. Okay, yeah, I have a little Solana. We're going to look into Crow. I guess I'm going to have to market buy some Crow. Maybe, I don't know, maybe use Coinbase. I don't have a crypto.com account. Do you?
No, I don't. Technically,
Me neither. I need to get one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's, again, that's an exchange I feel pretty comfortable saying, I don't think they're going to pull a 3AC or, collapse. I don't think you're going to wake up the next morning, you got a Celsius situation where, you just have your icon spinning. Got my Celsius reward today. I think, yeah. $5. So wow. I got that off of my 2 ETH. So just stop giving me $5 a week. I don't need my 5% of 2 Ethereum. I just want my 2 Ethereum. We go to Hit Merch. Really, really cool stuff. Everybody talking about it. But let's look at the crypto market cap. Let's go to the top here. Where are we? Market cap 950 billion, 956. The dominance.
Refreshed.
I
don't know if it's not.
Is it better or worse? It's worse. We dropped down to 934. Dominance mostly unchanged here. 42.4% for Bitcoin, 15.4% for Ethereum. We saw Ethereum reaching up to that 20% range. No longer. If we go down, Bitcoin down 2.25%, 20,700. Ethereum almost at 1,200. Are we in that point, TJ, where things are just going to be boring and sideways? If so, how long do we got? 12 months? 18 months?
Yeah,
24 months?
that's always the magic question. It does seem pretty boring. I even had that conversation with myself this morning before I checked the price. I was like, oh, I bet it's going to be right where I left it, around 21 and change, and it was at the time. But I don't think we've hit that zone yet where it's boring for like a year. I think there's still going to be a little more action to the downside, which tends to be the general consensus, which is a little concerning when everybody's saying the same thing. Maybe there's not one more leg down. Did notice, interestingly, SBF on Twitter over the weekend casually called the bottom, basically saying, the acting as if the worst pain was over, which
I saw that.
That's a pretty interesting sign there.
Yeah,
But
and I don't think anyone thinks he's not smart either.
No.
Or doesn't have his eye to the pulse of the streets there. I was also looking at some Justin Sun. Apparently he sold 1.5 billion in Ethereum at above 4,000, and a lot of people kind of waiting for him to jump in. Let's see, Theory. Crypto bear market would be better for having been erupt. The credit crash will be brutal for being having been drawn out for a year and slowly sapping away consumer confidence day by day. A lot of people are saying we're due for a credit crunch. I tend to agree with them. There is a lot of alarming data when you look at credit card debt, with gas moving up. I believe it was Friedberg saying this. It's hard for people to roll back their lifestyle. So
absolutely,
all of a sudden your grocery store bill increases. All of a sudden your gas bill increases. You're used to eating out, X amount of times a week. You're used to doing certain things on the weekends. Okay, now your gas bill is $300 extra a month. Do you remove that $300 from your entertainment budget? Maybe, but not immediately. You're gonna say, oh, I kind of got used to going out to my favorite restaurant every Friday. So people are starting to rack up that credit card debt, and we're seeing it, on institutional scales. We're seeing it on a consumer scale, and we're seeing it on a global scale. So when that shoe drops, it could be pretty bad. Hopefully, it doesn't get too ugly. So hey, pay your credit card bills. Don't over leverage. Don't use a credit card to pay off a credit card. That. I remember the 2008 crisis. It got a little ugly. People were definitely borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, as they say.
Yeah, now's a good time to be debt free if you can.
Yeah, if you can. Obviously, not everyone in that position. All right, let's just wrap up a couple more coins here. BNB kind of climbing up a little bit on the long term, 232. XRP 35 cents. Cardano 49 cents still. That's the price when we were looking at it last week. Solana 38 bucks. Doge. Man, that Doge at a nickel seemed to be a pretty good buy. I mean, when you see 7 cents, that doesn't seem like that much. That's 40% gain if you jumped in at a nickel. So congrats, all the Doge buyers at a nickel. Polygon, you know what? I know the price was a little suppressed, but that was my buy this past paycheck. So people were asking, what would you buy? I kind of, my instinct said Cardano. And I said, I need to diversify. I did buy some Polygon. So I bought a little bit, not a whole bunch. I think just 100. Right? Yeah, 100 was like 53 bucks or 60 bucks or something like that. So just a little matic. Again, I'm not trying to time the exact bottom. I just know we're close to the bottom. So I'm scaling in on some coins. And today, maybe get a little crow. I don't know. Sorry, Chainlink. I know my Link Marines are watching. Maybe I'll buy my 0.4. Don't worry. But I don't know. Should we look at some charts? We got Frank huddled up underneath a blanket.
Yeah.
Okay, he's unwrapping his calves now. Okay. Now he comes up.
What is going on, everybody? And DZ, I think we both are bigger fans of the heat than the cold. It is probably a brisk 6 degrees in here.
Yeah,
something like that.
Celsius, though.
Yeah, of course. All right, guys, we've got a bunch of good stuff to look at on the charts here. Some higher time frames looking pretty bullish. Lower, medium time frames, 4 hour actually not looking too good. And we're going to take a look at it right now. I'm going to let you guys know what I think. And I'm going to let you know, more importantly, what levels I'm watching, where our next support is going to be and where I may be looking for a trade. But let's go ahead and start here. Let's start on the 5-day. Now, we were printing a green dot here, which is usually pretty bullish, but it has since disappeared. More of a bearish sign. Now, our 4-day is still printing that green dot, not confirmed yet. If this does confirm, it would be pretty bullish. Maybe could, signify that we could finally come up. I know, everybody's just expecting, a pump up here, and it just it's just not coming. It's just really not coming. It's kind of frustrating. But the 2-day, obviously, we do have that confirmed bullish divergence on the 2-day. Still just not really giving us any oomph, right? I mean, this is, I said this last time I was on the stream, it's just bear market activities, right? These bullish setups, that this is typically a very rare bullish sign, still technically could play out, but right now just pretty lackluster. But again, that 4-day green dot is a little more bullish. And then, 2-day bullish divergence still, even though it's lackluster, we could get support off of the 0 line with that VWAP and continue to come up here. So not invalidated just yet, just no gas in the tank here. But if you come down to these lower time frames, this is just a little more, do a little more local TA here. Now, Blood Diamond on the 4-hour. Now, typically Blood Diamond pops up on the 15-minute, something like that. You can get a nice little scalp trade. But when they pop up on something like the 4-hour, sometimes you can see some pretty big moves come out of these.
Two things. Is it confirmed? And what was the last Blood Diamond at on the 4-hour?
Gotcha.
What happened?
Yeah, so not confirmed yet. We do have another, almost 17 minutes to confirm this. So probably going to confirm, if I had to guess, we've got about 17 minutes on that. But now if we come back, the most recent Blood Diamonds on the 4-hour actually weren't too brutal. You had this one here that brought you down, about, 6%, something like that. And then, so they don't really print that often on the 4-hour, which is why
Almost seems like a short-term, bullish with a short-term positive.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, another 5% on this one, but then you have something like this. Yeah, that's why you want to be careful. Again, nothing's 100% right with trading, but or TA, 8%, and then you could even argue it brought you down, it brought you all the way down here about 15%. And if you come to the 3-hour, you'll see we are also printing a Blood Diamond on the 3-hour. And if you come back to the last Blood Diamond we had on the 3-hour, that did bring us down for quite a nice little, 18, 19, is that 19%, almost 20%. So, 20% from where we are now is going to be would be a pretty
Roughly
rough
16.
ride to, about 16,580. So, it doesn't mean it's definitely going to play out like that. But something I did want to point out for anybody who's looking to trade, this is kind of a strategy. I think Ben originally brought it up a while ago on a stream, but basically when you have the VWAP on the 4-hour, let me zoom in, and the VWAP is this yellow wave on Market Cipher. When you have that VWAP cross down below the 0 line, and at the same time you have your 15-minute money flow, which actually didn't cross over into the red. But typically when you get money flow coming out on the 15-minute, crossing over into the red with that 4-hour VWAP, especially a Blood Diamond attached to that crossover, this is typically a lot of times a pretty good short signal to get into a short trade. A lot of times you will see price come down a decent bit here. So I would expect us to come down a little bit here just based off of the 4-hour Blood Diamond and the money flow on the 15-minute basically coming straight out. If we come to our other chart here with our levels, here are some levels I am watching. Right here, we do have a value area low at 20,471. And then right underneath that, we do have a spider line coming in at about 20,185. And if you watch my channel, you will know, you could see by our arrow here, when we were pumping up, I was expecting a pullback to possibly this local golden pocket here. Now, obviously, it didn't happen exactly on time, but we did eventually come down. So we were expecting to come down to this level. Sometimes takes a little longer to play out, but we are actually holding this local golden pocket. So that is a good sign. But with that 4-hour Blood Diamond, I am feeling a little more bearish. I do think there is a chance we can come a little bit lower. And then if we come to the DXY, before I let you guys go, just want to point out here, DXY still, looking pretty bearish with the money flow crossover on the 4-hour. You do have the money flow coming out. And then if we zoom in here, you will see the yellow VWAP wave is getting rejected from that 0 line. So still looking pretty bearish. Probably going to get a crossover to the upside somewhat soon. But again, with that money flow crossover on the 4-hour, and then the 6-hour looking like it wants to cross over into the red, it is looking a little bearish for the DXY, which would be good for Bitcoin. So watch that 4-hour Blood Diamond, guys. I do think it could bring us down a little bit. And if you want to stay updated on the price, join the Frankie Candles Discord and come watch me live every single weekday at 5:45 right after ATB. That's all I got.
All right.
Back to DZ.
Let's,
Bing, bong.
let's hold that pocket. Frank
Hold
makes
that
his pocket get held. He's the pocket holder, not the holder. All right, yeah, let's hope some of these more bearish scenarios don't play out. Obviously, we don't want that to happen. We don't want that. You saw those blood diamonds. You saw the two of the last or three or so last ones. It fell a little bit, bounced a little bit, but you saw once we went back about 4 or 5 blood diamonds, it was a hellacious crash. So, hopefully we can avoid that very, very bad scenario. But let's talk a little market cap while we're talking about the market here. Crypto market cap nears 1 trillion as Bitcoin reclaims 21K. Consolidation continues as it is stalled above that 21K level. Most alts have also calmed today after the recent volatile ride, with the most impressive gains coming from Cardano and Dogecoin. We were just talking about that. I saw people in the chat saying, can Cardano go to 25 cents? I think it's certainly possible. I think there's a lot of buying pressure around that 25-cent range. I'm a buyer at 25 cents. I'll definitely be scaling in a little bit harder at 25 cents. So just, is it possible? Yeah. Do you want to wait for it to happen? It depends how what your risk assessment is. I have a higher risk assessment. I don't mind scaling in a little bit here. So that's what I'm doing. Will I buy a little Cardano? In the 30s, looks pretty attractive. 49, I think I'd rather wait for it to go a little bit lower. ADA and Doge lead the way. Ethereum dumped from over 2K to 900 in a week or so. Since then, has reclaimed more than $300 of value and now trades above 1,200. We see here, half red, half green, looking like a nice little Christmas wrapping paper here. But, I'll take a little green. I'll take a little bit of that green. Speaking of green, we got the bull. Bear market has been the worst on record. Glassnode, recent on-chain analysis by Glassnode has shown that the current bear cycle is playing out as the worst one in history. I would say that this is referring to dollar amounts, if I had to guess. Several factors have contributed to making this bear market the worst ever, as Bitcoin traders are underwater and continue to sell at a loss, according to Glassnode. We look here, lowest value 0.396, duration 5 days, 511, and then here 478. This is the Meyer multiple. The first and most obvious indication of a bear market is when the spot price of Bitcoin falls below the 200-day moving average, and an even more extreme scenario, the 200-week moving average. You're looking at a 1,400-day moving average. To highlight how rare the current price levels are, Glassnode showed that during the 2022 bear market, Bitcoin has fallen below the 200-day moving average level. That is quite down there. Glassnode also demonstrated that falling below 0.5, the Meyer multiple, is an exceedingly rare occasion that hasn't happened since 2015. That is a long time. Let's pull up this chart again. I kind of want to see that. 2015, the Meyer multiple, yeah, you see it wicks below this green line here. And looks like maybe just flirting with this green line right below it. Bounced hard off of it in those lows of 2019. TJ, you were here for that time. What were your thoughts during this period? Was it glee? Like, wow, look at that nice little local crash. This is, this is the time to accumulate. This is the low. What were people feeling? Was it just disbelief and fear, or was that little bit of a greed element, like, finally the price I've been waiting for?
A little bit of both, to be honest. Kind of like our audience here. A lot of us, like for me, I was excited because it was an opportunity to accumulate at really low prices. But if you didn't have 100% conviction, like if you were doubting yourself at all, yeah, there was tons of fear in the market at that time that, like, hey, Bitcoin was built for this. It's made for, kind of similar to right now. A lot of people questioning, like, wait a minute, I bought Bitcoin because it was an inflation hedge.
Yep.
It was a recession hedge. It was supposed to be another option when things hit the fan. Now things are hitting the fan and my Bitcoin's crashing. And it's like, yeah, everything's crashing. And you have to see past the short-term pain in order to realize the opportunity that you're looking at. So for people that kind of got in 2017, 2018, and were looking for low prices, it was very exciting. But if you were new, it was, still scary for sure.
Yeah, and I've seen people who jumped in later. Ben is on vacation. He will be back next week. YFI, I think that's a big enough coin for us to be able to say something about. YFI, here's my thoughts on YFI. You're in finance. It's one of those big players, a lot of big whales like that protocol. I feel like it has been consolidated into Compound, Maker, and Aave. And I feel like those are taking the lion's share and have kind of won the network effect. YFI, I just don't think it's quite as popular for the people that matter. Like a retail, it's not a retail play. It's
No.
what are the whales doing? And I don't believe the whales have embraced it as fully as they did, say, 2 years ago. Any
Yeah,
thoughts?
I would tend to agree. Any yield products right now are gonna have a hard time just based on the news and the landscape.
macro environment of yield. Is
People are afraid of it.
Yeah.
Whether it's a DeFi algorithmic yield on chain or custodied off chain, there's risks with both. So I think I'm not saying those products are dead forever. I just think it's going to be a tough road ahead for a lot of the DeFi yearn type products.
Yeah, tough road ahead. And I mean, the big players are going to like a certain amount because they're going to, it's going to be a who's club. That's kind of my take. All right, let's talk a little Bitcoin balance on exchanges at 3-year low, spelling bullish sentiments for Bitcoin. While the crypto market cap remains below 1 trillion and most of its assets still struggle to return to their previous glory, some hope may be on the horizon, at least for the flagship digital asset, Bitcoin. This reads like a movie poster. Will still struggle to return to their previous glory. Rocky Balboa may hope. All right, let's see here. What does this mean? Traditionally, the change in amount of Bitcoin held on exchanges has reflected the market sentiment. That is essentially saying, how much do we trust the market? How many retail people are buying? How many people are comfortable just, I'll buy a little Bitcoin I got on my Coinbase and I haven't sold. Right now, it is looking like, where we're at 3 years ago. And I remember where I was at 3 years ago, scooping up cheap corn. It is also worth noting that several days earlier, Finbold reported on a massive $2 billion worth of outflow of Bitcoin from exchanges in 1 week, which mean that the trend was starting to take hold. We always say, do what the whales are doing or get eaten like shark bait, chum. You don't want to get eaten like chum. $2 billion worth of Bitcoin outflow here. That's some serious Bitcoin. Who do you think this is? Do you think this is mysterious whales or exchanges? Is it Sam or the guy in the basement?
Well, I would say there's one caveat, so generally speaking, these metrics they're referring to on Glassnode, the amount of balance held on exchanges is a pretty good indicator. Like when whales are looking to take profits, they're going to send their Bitcoin to an exchange so they can sell it. When they're looking to hold it for a long time, they're going to withdraw it. That being said, given the news last week and custody of your assets, I think a lot of this could just be people that have left stuff on exchanges for a long time, people like us that were like, you know what, we'd feel better having it off an exchange right now. So it is a bullish signal, seeing exchange supplies of Bitcoin being low. That means whales are holding it. But I would say I'd take this one with a grain of salt given last week's kind of news.
Yeah, I have a little bit on KuCoin. I've actually been thinking about you know what? Maybe it's time to move that a little bit. Right. A lot of it's wax, and I just hate the wax wallet experience. So KuCoin, just don't steal my wax, please, because I'm being lazy.
Yeah.
Don't do what DZ does, okay? Right. Do as I say, not as I do. Honestly, because my wax is worth like nothing, so I don't really care as much. If wax was 70 cents, I'd have a lot more desire to stay on top of my wax. Right now, it's just like, wax on, wax off. It ain't going nowhere. All right, small time investors achieve the 1 Bitcoin dream as Bitcoin holds that 20K range. Hit that like button if holding 1 Bitcoin is your dream. Where are we on the likes? I haven't been talking about the likes enough.
Yeah, we got about 5,000 people in here, about 900 likes. We
let's get that up to 1,000.
We could definitely get that to
you get above 1,000, I'll take the sling off.
Oh, wow. Sling it around your head.
Should have made that harder. I should have said 2K. All right. With Bitcoin recently trading at the 20K range for the first time since 2020, small-time investors found a small window of opportunity to achieve their dream of owning at least 1 Bitcoin. Ever since early Bitcoin investors woke up millionaires as the ecosystem gained tremendous popularity alongside the mainstreaming of the internet, investors across the globe have been in the rush to accumulate as many of the 21 million Bitcoin, 1 Satoshi at a time. just trying to catch up to that Michael Saylor level. This Redditor shared the above screenshot, revealing that it took him around 35K in total to accumulate 1 Bitcoin over several months since February 14th, 2021. He started purchasing from Coinbase, but later started using Strike, owing to lower fees. Sharing a peek into his future plans, he stated, I'm hoping in the future I can treat it more like rich people treat real estate and take loans out against it. Be wary doing that. Then, as it appreciates, just pay off the old loan with the new one. Boom, bada bing, tax-free income. I was able to catch the falling knife and buy enough to get me over the finish line. That was no easy feat. I'm just an ordinary guy with an ordinary life. Between June 15th and 10 days later on the 25th, the total number of Bitcoin wallet addresses holding more than 1 Bitcoin grew by 873. I think this is kind of playing into what me and TJ were just talking about. People were getting a little nervous, with what happened with Celsius, all these BlockFi rumors. You're saying, maybe it's not as safe as I once thought on that exchange. Maybe I will go ahead and, Google Bitcoin wallet. What's that? When's the last time you've interacted with a Bitcoin wallet? Not an exchange, but an actual Bitcoin wallet.
Well, you'd be surprised. It was probably Friday. So,
really? Okay.
Yeah. I had downloaded a new wallet to do some stuff for myself personally that I was going to be moving around. So I created a new Bitcoin wallet.
All right. Trading Bitcoin for Tron?
No, looking to accumulate more.
Okay.
I think I mentioned it on the stream here before. I'm a big fan of Shapeshift, and their wallet is not the greatest, but they have a good way to buy through. I can't remember the name of the entity they've partnered with, but you could, between Shapeshift, Exodus, and Trezor, you can pretty much no KYC purchase crypto and self-custody it all yourself. So
nice. I like that. Shapeshift. I like Nightcrawler. And Morph from X-Men as well. All right. Russia pushed into historic default by sanctions. I have some takes on this. Russia defaulted on its international bonds for the first time in more than a century, the White House said, as sweeping sanctions have effectively cut the country off from the global financial system, rendering its assets untouchable. Earlier, some bondholders said they had not received overdue interest on Monday, following the expiry of a key payment deadline on Sunday. Well, Sunday, the banks were closed. A formal default would be largely symbolic, given Russia cannot borrow internationally at the moment and doesn't need to, thanks to plentiful oil and gas export revenues. Don't listen to the headline. Yeah. This sentence right here kind of sums up. A default would be largely symbolic. So this is a scary headline to make you think that Russia's economy is failing. Right. The Russians are starving. Russia's war, is just this huge mistake, this huge blunder. Their economy is going to go into shambles. What a dummy Putin was. Boy, I used to think these KGB people, they knew what they were doing. Ha, ha, ha. You're defaulting. You're poor. Well, let's look at this next headline because this really sums up what's happening. Russia's ruble hits its strongest level in 7 years, despite massive sanctions. Yeah. Here's why.
Let me say real quick. That's before you sum up that last story. That's what I wanted to say. It's borderline misinformation. Yes, the facts they stated were true, but it's not that they're defaulting because they can't pay it. They're defaulting because the United States has cut them off from the payment rails to make the payment. Yeah. So they would pay their debt, but the United States isn't allowing it.
Yeah, it's like someone has a whole bunch of gold, and their gold is tied to a credit card. And then you slice their credit card in half, and you say, ha, 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 you couldn't pay for the movie ticket. You're poor.
Here.
It's like, well...
Here's an example that might hit home. It's almost like you've got a loan from Celsius, and you've got all the money you need to pay that loan.
Too soon, bro.
You've got all the money you need to pay that back, and then you say, okay, and then they tell you, oh no, we're stopping withdrawals, and we're not going to accept the money that we're holding for you as payment, so you're defaulting on your loan. That's exactly what's happening with the United States and Russia. We're basically holding them hostage and then saying, ha ha, you're defaulting, but they're not. We're just...
Yeah, and it's my understanding, given the sanctions with their financial assets, we couldn't, trade with them and such. There's U.S. pension funds and retirement accounts and hedge funds that held these assets that essentially was given back to Russia 0 cents on the dollar. So it's like, here's $10 billion worth of assets for $0. And this is part of the reason why their economy is flourishing. We just gave them tons and tons of equity in these Russian companies for
Mhm.
free. So, yeah, anyway, all right, let's break the story down a little bit. Russia's ruble hit 52.3 to the dollar on Wednesday, its strongest level since May 2015. Here, the idea was clear: crush the Russian economy violently, Russian President Putin said last week during the annual St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. They did not succeed. Obviously, that didn't happen. The reasons are, to simply put, strikingly high energy prices, capital controls, and sanctions themselves. The sanctions, kind of broke down what we were saying with their equity of their companies. And Russia, Ukraine's first 100 days, Russian Federation raked in 98 billion in revenue from fossil fuel exports, according to the Center for Research on Energy and Clean Air research organization out of Finland. More than half of those earnings came from the EU at about 60 billion. And I know Germany is a high net buyer of Russian oil. Capital controls, or the government's limiting of foreign currency leaving its country, have also played a big role here. Plus the simple fact that Russia can't import as much anymore thanks to sanctions, meaning it's spending less of its money buying stuff from elsewhere. The ruble, let's see, because Russia is now cut off from SWIFT banking system and blocked from trading internationally, it's been left to essentially trade with itself. Yeah, we've cut themselves off, and they're just becoming self-sufficient here.
That's not necessarily true, though. They've been left with trade with everybody except the West. So except for
they're
the
trading
United States
with
and
China
Europe.
hand over fist.
Yeah, China, a lot of the Middle Eastern, the banks, the BRICS banks, and a lot of those things. They've created a whole secondary economy that's quickly growing against the one that we consider the real economy. So the only person really in pain right now from this is the United States. We've
West.
actually set up Russia for a lot of success. They moved their ruble. Part of the reason the ruble's doing so well, a lot of people don't even realize this, is they moved back to the gold standard. So every ruble is backed by gold at this point. So it's literally the strongest currency in existence because everything else is fiat based on the dollar, which we printed into nothing.
Yep.
So,
it is tough and it is frustrating. And not only that, we had a part of our dollar dominance was we had to basically use dollars anywhere in the world. You want to trade oil, you're using dollars. Now, China and Russia, that's not what they're doing. So, unfortunately, it is a little tough. Thank you, Wesley Donovan. Frankie swaying sideways to that rhythm, and JJ's cool, soothing voice, and the melodic voice of DZ. Perhaps I'll even try to add more melody. All right, no. All right, failed experiment. I tried. Cass,
all right.
That was for you, Wesley. Thank you for the Canadian bucks. Anything but U.S. fiat. Any rubles? All right, we're joking, of course.
Yeah.
We have a sanction on rubles. Can't give us rubles. All right. Goldman Sachs reportedly keen to raise $2 billion to purchase Celsius assets. How do you feel about the word keen? Keen? I'm on the fence on keen.
Actually, I love it.
You're keen on keen.
I'm keen on it. The Australians use it all the time, and they use it for everything. Craig, one of our guys, is always using it. I'm like, man, that's an underused word that has like 10 meanings.
Yeah,
so I think
we have a British person in our Pluto Alliance community, Crypto Mayhem. He might be watching right now. Shout out to you, Mayhem. He says keen as well. Bruce Banner, I'm sorry. You think you're not keen on DZ, and that's okay, Bruce, because you know what? You don't want to make me mad. All right, let's move on here. Come on, Bruce, you got to love this. I'm giving you gold here, Bruce. I'm giving you gold.
Yeah.
Crypto lending company Celsius Network appears to be on its last legs, and Wall Street giant Goldman Sachs is reportedly set to swoop in and acquire it. Do you think Bruce is laughing at home? I'm not letting it go, Bruce.
No.
You got me heated up here now.
Bruce doesn't strike me as a happy individual.
Bruce is tickled pink. We're talking about him right now. Bruce, shout out to Bruce. You're a real one. I hope you're having a good day. We are having a good day in the Bit Squad. Hit that like button if you're in the Bit Squad. Today's a good day. Even though it's Monday, hey, we're here. We're in crypto. We're here for the boring part. You know what? That's going to be exciting 3 years from now, 2 years from now, maybe 18 months from now. When can I remove my armband? Hopefully soon. All right, the co-founder back to Goldman Sachs, reportedly trying to purchase the Celsius assets. The co-founder and former CEO of BitMEX, Arthur Hayes, observed that Goldman Sachs is not actually putting its own funds into this proposed arrangement. Please don't believe they're putting their own money at risk unless they explicitly say so. Goldman Sachs is doing what advisory banks do, assemble a bunch of investors, and then help them structure the purchase of distressed assets for a fat fee. PHAT, pretty hot and tempting. Is there some special spelling of fat that I don't know about?
Nope.
Like a fiat fat?
I don't know. Never
They
seen
they
that one.
teach you that in Investopedia.com. Fat. I feel out anyways. You know what? Maybe they're just they really like rap lyrics. Suffice it to say, Celsius is drifting dangerously close to bankruptcy. We don't want that. You know what it is, Celsius? Stop giving me my rewards. I want to do my part. I will give up my $5 every week if it means other people can cash out sooner. Stop rewarding us. All right, let's, speaking of Celsius, this was, I saw this on Twitter. This was quite amazing. Amazing is one word. Not surprising is another. I was surprised he had his own face still. I was expecting a face-off Nicolas Cage, John Travolta type situation. Sorry, that's an old reference there. What's the new version of swapping faces here? Is just people don't do that, huh?
Yeah, I don't. Body doubles. I'm not sure who that would be.
What a good movie though.
Yeah.
Face Off, really good movie. That may be the movie where we got the Nicolas Cage thing.
Oh, yeah.
I think maybe it's either that or Gone in 60 Seconds. All right, back to Mashinsky here. Mashinsky accused of trying to run amidst company bankruptcy. The founder and CEO, Alex, is allegedly seeking a way out of the U.S. after the firm's scandalous liquidity shortage. Celsius froze withdrawals 2 weeks ago, just days after Mashinsky lied to customers about the safety of their funds. He has since gone silent, and there's no sign that the funds will be released anytime soon. It's in the hands of the lawyers now, for better or worse. This was Mike Alfred. I thought that was, when I saw the picture, I was like, is that Lark? All right, Celsius executives trip cut short by authorities. Now, according to investor Mike Alfred, the executive attempted to leave the U.S. for Israel through Morristown Airport. He was, however, stopped by authorities, but it remains unclear whether he was arrested or just barred from traveling. Alfred now speculates that he's already been contacted by the FBI and questioned regarding Celsius's troubles. He also says it's unlikely customers will be able to redeem their assets soon, saying it's in the hands of the lawyers now. Banks are not your friends. Other than regulators, the troubled firm has also drawn the attention of potential buyers. Now, this is going to be a long, drawn-out battle, I think. I don't think it's going to be solved anytime soon. I think it will be faster than Mt. Gox, but I don't think we're going to have our funds tomorrow or next month or maybe not even this year. However, Mt. Gox, does that have 5 years, 6 years? Like, I don't think it'll be that long. How long was Mt. Gox? Do you remember that?
It lasted a long time. I'm not. I have no idea.
I think I was like, it was like what, last year? So I was like, around roughly 36. I may have been 28 when that went down.
Yeah,
it might have been like 8 years, 9 years. Yeah, someone in the chat might know. It was a very, very long time for those people to get their Bitcoin off that exchange. So maybe something similar. I don't know. So
you want to always stay positive, stay optimistic, but I've pretty much written it off, guys. And I think if you haven't yet, I think you'd be better off too. So like if you're counting on it, I would just count it as good as gone. Try to make it up, and if it comes back, great. You get a bonus. You got some extra crypto you weren't planning on.
Yeah. And for some people, like, we're not going to name names, but there's people in this office very greatly affected. And it's tough. It's heart-wrenching. It's frustrating. It's kind of makes me angry. I'm not like my 2 ETH. I can recover from my 2 ETH, but there's people in this office that are really hit bad by it. And it's very, very frustrating. I'm not talking about Ben and TJ. They can recover. We're talking about people who have their savings in there, their retirement account in there. And it's frustrating.
It is.
But yeah, we hope for everything to get resolved. Maybe Sam saves us. Him and his golden lock or golden. Him and his long locks.
Yeah, I don't know if they put that in there. There was a story about FTX and BlockFi. Is that in the rundown? Do you see
it is not in the quick hits. We will get to it.
All right, perfect. Because I do want to touch on that.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Three Arrows Capital. This is the last on Goldman receives a notice of default for failure to make the required payments. Voyager Digital made the announcement today on the 27th that Voyager Digital LLC has filed a notice of default to 3AC since it's failed to make the due payments on its previously disclosed loan of 15,000 Bitcoin and 350 million USDC. It is possible that Alameda's facilities may be used to ease client orders and withdrawals in the future. Companies already utilize 75 million of the line of credit. And here, as previously reported, after disclosing its exposure to the Singapore-based hedge fund at 3AC, which was hit hard by the sell-off, crypto broker Voyager Digital has considered decreasing its daily withdrawal limit on the 22nd. So, yeah, we're seeing the contagion is spreading. Hopefully it stops. I mean, the dominoes have to run out eventually, right? I mean, it can't fall for infinity.
Well, and that's something I was going to say. You know, Voyager came out when all this stuff was going down saying, oh, we don't have exposure to high risk DeFi plays like this Lido Finance, yada, yada, yada. But now they're cash strapped. They're looking to call their loan back from Three Arrows Capital, who doesn't have it. So the dominoes aren't done yet. And that's part of what we're going to look at with the FTX stuff and BlockFi. BlockFi's going down, Nexo's going down. So all these huge players have all lent money to each other, and now they're all trying to call their loans at the same time. And it's, you know, we've built another debt-based system on top of crypto, unfortunately, and we're starting to see the consequences of that. Hopefully, since this is a free market, it can wash out much better and we can move forward in a better capacity. But
yeah, we grow. It's XP points, essentially. Nick the Kid, thank you for the sub. DZ looking a little light. I've quit going to the gym. I can't really go to the gym, so I'm losing muscle mass. So I'm shrinking. And is Binance secure? Ben says Binance has more money than God. So, you know, I trust Binance to, you know, not collapse. Of course, this is crypto. Anything is possible. If CZ gets in a car accident tomorrow, you know, I'd get way more bearish on it. But
only thing,
CZ, smart guy, smart team.
I was going to say, only thing we know 100% is not your keys, not your coins. So always keep that in mind.
Yes.
That being said, yes, Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini generally tend, you know, the early exchanges generally tend to be some of the most solid players within the space because they've been generating cash and crypto the entire time.
Did you listen to the Kraken CEO interview?
Jesse?
With Jason Calacanis.
How was
good? Pretty good. He basically defended his position of his work culture and why he does that. And to sum it up, he has a philosophy degree from college. So, you know, he likes to debate. He likes to have these discussions. And that's not everybody, but his reasoning of why he doesn't want certain things in the workplace made a lot of sense when you have employees in 70 countries, I wanted to say. And, you know, you got an engineer from Saudi Arabia and someone's asking them about, you know, gender and stuff. It could be a very uncomfortable experience for that citizen for sure. So it was just interesting hearing his take and reasoning. But all right, speaking of big CEOs, big tech CEOs, there's the face of nightmares. Meta, Microsoft, and other tech giants say they want an open metaverse. Should we believe them? I would say no. Meta and 34 other tech companies signed a pledge this week to work towards creating an open and interoperable metaverse, but leading voices in crypto aren't convinced. Among them, Meta, Microsoft, Alibaba, Sony announcing their founding membership in an organization calling itself Metaverse Standards Forum.
Wait, read those companies again.
Meta, Microsoft, Alibaba, and Sony.
Yeah, those are all people I trust.
Yeah. You know, don't got to worry about Gates and Zuck. No. All good stuff. Then Chinese military and so. All good stuff here. I think we should always stay skeptical. Danny Green, GM of the Me BitSquad, told Decrypt, at the end of the day, we're fighting for a decentralized future. And these are the corporations that are representing shareholders. Key to the forum stated aim to create an open metaverse, unable to be controlled by one company, is a particular word, interoperability. Critics of big tech fear that large corporations wading into the metaverse have different vision for it. One in which a company like Meta keeps its digital marketplaces and, crucially, data and analytics firmly under control in a more siloed digital environment instead of borderless neighborhoods. He dismissed the Metaverse Standards Forum as a paper tiger and likened it to the League of Nations, international body created after the First World War to promote multilateralism and prevent another global catastrophe, which, of course, gave way to the rise of fascism and World War II. CU believes the business model of companies like Meta is fundamentally incompatible with the notion of a decentralized open metaverse. I would agree with that. I would say this with so many of these big companies, though, they have enough juice to say, hey, this is open, but it's going to be closed. So it's going to be open and closed at the same time. So they could say, we're partnering with 34 other companies. This is open. What are you talking about? And it's like, well, is it EVM compatible? No. But did you see these 34 companies? Well, it's still closed. I think this is just going to be their way of saying, yeah, it's everything's open, but similar to AWS, Amazon Web Services. Hey, yeah, it's an open internet. Everything's free until it isn't. And that's how I see this going. I could easily see the 35 companies. They're all going to be on the same side ideologically. They're not going to want open metaverses. They're not going to want open marketplaces. This is just a big conglomeration that's going to have its version of the App Store, of the Play Store. That's my 2 cents. Would you agree, disagree?
Yeah, I tend to agree with that almost 100%. I think it will be somewhat open, but not permissionless. And that's the key word that
permissionless.
I think when crypto people think open, we think permissionless. Most of these metaverses will be gated in some capacity.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. Gated is going to be the key phrase. And they don't want your Oculus to just work on some sort of open internet where everything is the Wild West, because they'll and this is, I'm not saying it's a bad reason. They'll say reasons like, well, we just want a stronger hand in moderating our content. And I get that. You don't want pornographic images being displayed to, the 8-year-old nephew on Christmas Eve. That'd be a pretty terrible situation and experience. So I understand where they're coming from. But I think there is a happy medium in trying to do both. I mean, you don't see terrible things like that on OpenSea or, Magic Eden or JPEG.store. However, you would say, that's technically closed marketplaces. However, they are pretty open. So I think there is a way to do both for sure. Greg Ferguson coming through for my defense there. Unfortunately, Greg, the language is a little colorful to make it past his filters there.
Leave DZ alone, he said. Yeah, I left the last.
I got thick skin.
Yeah,
I got thick skin. I got frail bones, but my skin's thick. Yeah, all right.
He broke a bone, but the skin didn't break.
Yeah, it's
no
bird
blood.
bones. They're hollow. I mean, you snap it like a chicken wing. I sneezed, and it was the airflow pushed my hand back and arm back so violently. So that's really how I broke my arm. All right, let's talk a little DAO voting here. Sand. Okay, yeah, open metaverse. Less than 1% of all holders have 90% of the voting power in DAOs.
That sounds about right.
That does sound right. I mean, when you think of less than 1% of humans have like 80 or 70% of wealth in the world, this is just the same thing, only it's going to be more so.
And this is why we say decentralization is a continuum. It can get thrown around a lot, but that headline right there, 1% of holders have 90% of the voting powers in decentralized autonomous organizations. That does not sound very decentralized.
Yeah, it does not. And DAOs have become a rage in the crypto ecosystem, often seen as the future of decentralized corporate governance. But the concentration of decision-making power was evident with Solend. I mean, we just saw this last week where they basically just voted for themselves, kind of went through the middle of the night, kind of like a midnight vote almost. This report estimates between 1 in 1,000 and 1 in 10,000 governance token holders have enough tokens to create a proposal. So, yeah, this is just as wealth accumulates, everything gets funneled up to the top, power is consolidated. If you really want that solved, you have to do what they call logarithmic voting, where you get, I don't want to say punished, but the more stake you have, the less power each individual coin does. So then that's how you can give power to the people, so to speak. You see a little bit with Cardano staking. They will cap your staking rewards at a certain point. So then you have to create more pools. So the more pools gives people the less amount of coins equal power. So like 2 small people can equal 1 wave or 1 whale, even though they might not have the same amount. Okay, Dan. Dan, that is not what it was, okay? All right, let's talk a little GTA. I wish I can't even game. I can't even game. I have to use the little straw that you blow into or something.
Wait, what?
This is huge. Anyways, I don't want to come off as ableist here, so we're just going to move on here. GTA 6 might integrate play-to-earn mechanics. Really, this should say crypto play-to-earn mechanics here. According to a recent leak, GTA 6, rumored to release in 2024, may integrate play-to-earn mechanics But we're talking about crypto here. We'll have an in-game cryptocurrency. With this, players will be able to earn and trade in the game. They can access 2 different exchanges through their smartphones to buy and sell stocks. So it'd be similar to a stock market assassinations missions. And play to earn games are going to be one of the biggest trends in NFT space. Grand Theft Auto is one of the biggest trends in gaming space.
Absolutely.
The role playing that exploded with GTA 5, huge on Twitch. So I could see some streamers, some popular streamers earning a little bit of money, saying, "Hey, we gamed all day. I hope it's not a high amount. I don't want stepping. All right, I don't want to walk for 20 minutes and I get paid $100.
No.
Obviously, that wasn't sustainable. Now I'm walking for $3. So it's like, can you find that little bit of a balance so you don't just lead to a giant crash immediately? What do you say, for 8 hours of Grand Theft Auto would be a good sustainable amount to earn? I would say, just like $25.
I was gonna say under 20 is
Yeah.
really what I was gonna say. And my theory on this is kind of in line with what you were just saying. It's gonna take a while to find that true equilibrium, but it just needs to be that you're playing the game first for the fun of the
For
game,
the fun.
and then the secondary is like, oh, cool, I earned some rewards.
I'm playing GTA anyways. That's
Right.
what you really need. You need to have,
Exactly.
what? I just love this game. I haven't played GTA 5 really. I think I played GTA 4. I rented it or something. That tells you how long ago it was. I rented it.
Yeah.
So I might get into that GTA 6 just to experience what it's like, just to get into the ecosystem and, show these young bucks how it's done when it comes to leveraging and arbitraging trades on the marketplace. I'll hire some people overseas. I'll get like a whole army of people, one-armed bandits roaming GTA. I did hear it's going to be set in Miami and then a Central American country, I think. So maybe like a little drug war, escalating drug trade type thing. Maybe some cigarette boats. I don't know. Maybe a little helicopter action. When did you stop playing GTA?
I think it was 3, GTA 3.
Okay. Yeah. GTA 3 was good. Vice City was good. I think San Andreas was the last time I played. Oh, hell. Here we go again. All right. San Andreas. Yeah. A lot of people played San Andreas. Yeah. Let us know in the comments. What's your last? All right. Vice City. Yeah. There's some good ones, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember the Xbox being able to play your music from your Xbox in your car when you got in. I would hear track number 3 of Juvenile, 400 Degrees, because it starts on the same one every time. I would hear that track every single time I jumped in a car. You know what? I loved it. Loved it. Great times. All right. Let's talk about Metaverse real quick. Metaverse features expected in the new HTC phone. Used to love those phones 10 years ago. Part of its ongoing Web3 growth, VR gear and smartphone manufacturer HTC is anticipated to introduce a new phone featuring Metaverse characteristics on Tuesday. What does that mean? It's going to be comes with a free Me Bit. No. The GM for APAC stated in March that the company plans to release a Metaverse-related phone this year, reiterating that they're still in the smartphone business. Big news, bullish. These big companies, they're not giving up on this. This kind of reminds me of the Solana play. This mobile gaming is going to be huge as mobile gaming gets better, as phones get better, as the graphics get better, as the screens get sharper. You're going to be able to do more and more stuff. So, pretty excited about that. XRP time. XRP. Who holds a little XRP?
They
Hit
need
that
to
like button if it was your first coin you ever bought.
They
Like
need
me.
to see the X. They were complaining last time you didn't do it.
Really?
There you look at him go. Wow. Look.
All right.
Now he's gonna recover for that.
All right. Yeah. Where are my pills? All right. Jed McCaleb. Now, they better not even joke about that. They're going to be like, oh, DZ's faded again. No, I'm not. I'm sorry. Maybe it'd be a better show. I think it'd be a worse show. It could be a better show, but I'm pretty sure I'd be slurring my words a little bit better. And some of these words have like more than 2 syllables. Come on, man. A 3-syllable word? I struggle with 3. I struggle with 2. Jed McCaleb now has 114 million XRP left. Report. Let's see here. According to data provided by Jed, not that Jed, website dedicated to monitoring his balance, he now has less than 114 million XRP left in his wallet. This is a very misleading chart. This is 114 million. My chart would have it a little bit higher. We are now officially less than 1 month until his taco stand account is empty. He was given 8 billion tokens for his work in creating OpenCoin, which eventually is renamed Ripple, even though he left in 2014. the focus on XLM. From that 8 billion, we're down to about 100 million. So we're way down. It appears that the website just displays his current balance and does not account for how much he still how much more is still owed to the former CTO. We just looked at the price, trading around 35 cents. It looks like it has climbed as much as 16%. So a little bit of a upside on that. But yeah, his balance, I mean, I'm not expecting. Or go ahead.
What did you talk?
No. Okay. I'm not expecting a huge reversal in price once he's done selling. He is obviously a huge selling force. He is obviously pushing the price down with the selling action. I just don't think it's that much at the end of the day. 8 billion was a lot, and he seems to be doing it fairly slowly. But all right. Speaking of XRP, all right. 18 million worth of XRP now controlled by largest BSC whales. Surprises the BSC whales there. According to the whale sets, top 500 BSC whales are currently hodling XRP valued at 18 million. So we got some BSC whales in the past week. Looks like digital assets showed a mild sign of recovery. We talked about XRP gaining as much as 16% there. And Brad Garlinghouse, the current CEO, continues to reaffirm that his company's financial situation is strong enough to support the hiring of hundreds of additional employees around the world, including, some, oh, wait, lost that page. There's some, we see Ragsy. She's always talking about, she loves her XRP, loves the XRP community. Hit us with a little like button, there. Looks like someone in the chat says 7 million a day he's selling. So, yeah, 7 million, 100 million. Yeah, 14 days. You reach, so 116, you're reaching that roughly 16 days. So getting close. We're getting close there. All right. Now, I don't know. That is a decent amount of selling pressure.
It's a lot, and he's been doing it for a long time. So when it goes away, you'll definitely feel it. And that's one thing that was really interesting when we thought the case was getting ready to be settled back in October, is he had stopped selling for a period of time. And that was another indicator like, hey, wait a minute. He's been selling on a very regular schedule for years. Now he stopped selling. What is this preparing for?
Yeah.
Stopped for 3 or 4 months when it looked like the case was going to settle. Then,
I remember that. The pause. Yeah.
Now he
pause every now and then.
Then he picked back up in January. He's been selling ever since, and he's almost completed all of his sale now. So it will be interesting to see if once his selling is completed, we see it settle quickly, and if there's any tie-in to those two, because we've got a sneaking suspicion that he might be the inside source for the SEC.
Well, there's also self-fulfilling prophecies. So, his selling pressure might not be, all that great in the grand scheme of things when it comes to the amount of tokens that are circulating with XRP. But people see that he stopped selling, so they buy, and that buying pressure creates price action, which creates more buyers, and then people are gonna. So, I mean, it could be a positive feedback loop. So we'll see. Still filling the link bag slowly but surely. You know it. All right, BlockFi. We want to talk about a little BlockFi. BlockFi has a new bidder in Morgan Creek. FTX's $250 million credit line could practically wipe out the investors, shareholders, and management. Asset manager Morgan Creek Digital wants to compete with FTX's support for the troubled crypto lender BlockFi. Multiple venture capital funds are reportedly casting around for ways to provide BlockFi with funds and bolster its balance sheet amid the shaken market. That would mean if BlockFi went ahead with another offer, its depositors would have to stand by until the new lender was repaid first. I saw a Twitter breakdown of this, and people are saying the reason Morgan Creek doesn't want this to happen is they will pay the investors after the people who deposited their funds. So people like you and me watching at home, we get our money before the investors. Right. Morgan Creek, they want the investors to get paid before people like you and me. So Sam Bankman-Fried, apparently, the way he could come in, it would just be, it would be good for North American crypto exchanges as a whole, stopping a domino effect, stopping a contagion event. I think it's a good thing. I mean, Sam Bankman, the more I hear about this guy, the more we see his actions, not what he says, what he does. The more it seems like he's here for longitudinal relationships. He's here for crypto to survive, decades, centuries even. As Michael Saylor, millennia,
Right.
So
And
I'm pretty hopeful for anybody with some assets in BlockFi if they're having issues.
yeah, and this somebody in the chat says, so once again, everybody wants to help BlockFi, not Celsius, and that's somewhat true. But just for perspective here, Morgan Creek, that's Pump's investment fund. The reason they're big on pushing BlockFi, obviously, Morgan Creek has a stake in BlockFi. So what Morgan Creek's trying to do right there is they're trying to protect their own interests. Obviously, you have an interest in a company that's looking to take a loan that protects the interests of the users that have custody assets on there, not the interest of the investors of the platform themselves. So they're looking at that interest getting wiped out. So they'd rather come in and make the loan themselves than them take FTX's loan that could basically custody all the assets and then wipe out the initial investors, which good for FTX, good for crypto as a whole. Not good for Morgan Creek or anybody that's invested in BlockFi. So
because they're investing in the company as a whole, not like investing, oh, here's 1,000 Bitcoin, I want to get back 1,050. No, they're investing like in a corporation.
Yeah.
And this corporation is just operating at a loss.
Correct.
So
they're trying to save their own butts right there. Let's not get that confused. They're not trying to do something nice for crypto. They're trying to save their own investments and not really protect yours, unfortunately. So that's, it's good for FTX that they've got all the money to come in and step in and make these kind of moves right now, but it just shows how fragile of a state it's in. Like I said, the fact that BlockFi's here, Nexo's here, Celsius is here, they're all looking for bailouts. It's going to have to come from the big players that have managed their funds correctly. And yeah, it's not looking good for yield on DeFi products or CeFi products.
Yeah, and yield signs. Start ignoring them. All right, joking, obviously. Do we have any quick or Q&A here?
We did have one question from the top of the show. If you guys have anything else, you can drop them in there right now. Somebody asked, buying small amounts of crypto every week, like DZ's example with 100 Matic, how do you guys keep track of taxes for when it's time to sell all these small amounts? And what we generally use, and I would recommend, I think it's still on bitboycrypto.com/deals, is TaxBit. You just hook it up to your exchange, whether it's Coinbase, Gemini, or whatever the exchange it is. It summarizes all your buys and sells and gives you, actually, even as you're going, what your taxable thing would be. So I would say check that out.
Yeah, and you don't have a tax event if you write it down 90% and never sell.
Hey,
no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. And there's two ways you can do: last in, first out, or first in, last out. So, but I hesitate to give any kind of real tax advice on here. But yeah, use the companies. That's what they do for a living. So they won't lead you astray. And if there were any issues, it shows that you did your due diligence. But like, hey, I tried my best. I use the software. I put in all my info. So you should be good. You do all those things. Now, if you're some whale and you got $70 million tax bill and you use some software, you might still, IRS might still be looking at you with the fine tooth comb, but I don't think that's the majority of our audience. Maybe some of our audience, but not the lion's share. Opinion on how Celsius will play out? Years, if anything. That's kind of what I'm hoping, and kind of what TJ said. You're better off mentally writing it off, even if it doesn't happen. It's just mentally, you're better off just forget about it, move on. And it's very heartbreaking. I'm not saying it's easy. It's very difficult for a lot of people to do that, but that might be, for your mental health sake, that might be the best way.
Yeah, I would say I think they're going to bankrupt, get acquired. Their assets will go to another provider, and maybe we get a percentage of our funds back. Maybe, but I doubt it.
Yeah. Hold the ETH or purchase Pluto Alliance. I don't want to go up here and shill PA, but I do know V2's got some big things moving on, and still some planets that haven't won the AdSense revenue.
That is
true.
And
we're about to spin the wheel in like 4 days. So, hey, that's, not financial advice, but there's a couple people getting a payday. So that'd be pretty cool. When staking ADA, how much risk is relieved when on a ledger? Honestly, for someone like me, I'd rather do that than use the command line. I find it much more risky trying to type in everything exactly. I mean, if you saw the stress that BJ went through when he thought he lost 100,000 ADA, I think it was a lot.
100,000.
Yeah, he thought he lost a lot because he thought he typed in the wrong thing in the command line. I don't want that stress, so I'd rather do it through a wallet. Now, there's going to be some coder who says, oh my God, DZ's so wrong. It's so much better to do it via command line. I'm not super comfortable doing it via the command line. I'd choose the wallet. So to me, it's one of those weird things. If you're not super tech native, yeah, use a ledger, use a wallet. If you know what you're doing and you're comfortable with command lines, yeah, do it all on chain and be the nerd where if you type in the wrong thing, hit enter, you just get wiped out. I'm too scared for that though.
Yeah, just know if you're staking with ADA, even from a ledger, there's always going to be some level of risk that you're taking on. The pool that when you're staking it to a pool, there's some level of risk that pool may or may not be managed in a way that's advantageous to you. They could do things that could potentially cause you to lose stuff. So just keep that in mind.
They could steal your yield.
Right. But it's much better than using a third-party system to put your crypto on and stake. So it is definitely better to stake it from your own wallet, but even still, when you're locking things up and staking it, there is some level of risk.
And shout out to BJ. I think it's the NES pool. So
NES.
Yeah,
there you go.
Want to follow Biscuit Jesus on Twitter. Shoot him a message. He'll help you out. All right, is that all we got?
Daedalus wallet is safe. Arculus wallet is strong. Yeah, that's pretty much all we have. We're at 1935, so almost got to 2,000 likes. I think you are gonna have to drop that.
All right.
Look at him go.
Okay, we're getting there. I should have a regular brace soon. It's just my hand wouldn't fit. I'm gonna try to get it in there. Hopefully, I asked the doctor, when can I do a push-up? He said maybe like 2-3 months, 60 to 90 days. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm gonna wave to. All right. It's been a good one. I'll be back tomorrow, 9 p.m., 5 p.m. Make sure you're tuned in. As always, Meta Money, NFT Alpha, Frankie Candles. Make sure you keep watching those channels. Make sure you're liking, subscribing to all the videos. And again, if you haven't seen our special from 2 weeks ago, check that out. Really good stuff. We got some more specials on the way. Until next time, BitSquad. Easy out.